Hey, what's up folks? Welcome back to another SwiftUI video. We already went through the basics of SwiftUI in another video, getting started with SwiftUI. In this video, we're gonna go more deep into SwiftUI and we're gonna find out how it is to work with state, what state is, how does it work with SwiftUI, and also we're gonna see some animations. Who doesn't love animations, am I right? Now let's just jump into my computer right here and see what we're going to be building today. Now I have here with the simulator open what we're going to be building today, and it's just a simple app that has 3 cards, and by tapping each card we're going to be flipping it and showing another image. So as you can see, it has this cool 3D animation that pushes it a bit upwards and also flips the card over. And you're gonna be impressed how many lines we actually need to build this for. It's more or less around 10 lines of code using SwiftUI, which is incredible because before you will have to write so much code to actually do this. So without wasting more time, let's just jump into the code. Let's open our Xcode beta. And create a new project. That's gonna be a single view application. And don't forget to check the box use SwiftUI. That's how we're gonna have our views with SwiftUI. And call this card flip or whatever you want. And press next and create. Now in here I'm using Xcode 11 beta 2 version, and also I'm on macOS Catalina, which allows me to use the previews. Now if you're on Mojave, that is fine as long as you have the Xcode 11 beta. You can work with this tutorial. However, you're not going to be able to see the previews. You'll be able, however, to build on the simulator. Don't get discouraged if you don't have macOS Catalina. Alright, so let's close this view right here. And this is our SwiftUI view. If you are familiar with SwiftUI view, that's how they actually look right now. And to enable our preview, we press the button resume in here. Great, now we will be able to see the preview right here with some text. As you can see, the text hello world. Alright, now before I start, I would like to go and drop 2 assets, the backdrop of the card and the king. So I will go to my assets catalog, and in here I have already downloaded my assets. So I'm just gonna drop them in here. And it's just a backdrop for the card and the king. Alright, let's go back to my content view. I'm gonna close this and enable my previews again. Okay, our view is gonna be simple. It's gonna have an image which will hold the image of our card, and it's gonna have a tap gesture. So when we tap it, it's gonna flip it, push it a bit upwards, and all that is gonna be encapsulated in an animation. So how are we gonna go and build that? Let's start simple. Let's create an image view and call this with a backdrop just to see our full image. And press resume to make sure that our previews are running. Great. Now our image is huge and does not fit in the screen, so it fills up the whole screen. It's very simple to fix that. You have to make our image resizable. Now it fits in our whole view, but we don't want it to fit in our whole view. We want it to be something smaller, so I'm just gonna add a frame for it with a width of maybe 250 and a height of 350. Great, this is more or less of what I want. Now we're gonna do just 1 card, see how this works, and then we're gonna introduce 3 cards or whatever. Great, now I would like to also add a tap gesture to my image. So I just press a modifier and call gesture, and in here I'm gonna introduce a new gesture. That's called a tap gesture, which is gonna execute when I tap on the image. So you initialize the tap gesture and then you press on ended. So when the tap gesture ended, you want to do some action. And in here we're gonna flip the card. Alright. So what do we want to do? We want to have a variable called flipped. It's going to be a Boolean variable that we will know if our card is actually flipped. And when it's actually flipped, we would like to change the image to show the front face and also animate it while it's flipping. So to do that, in SwiftUI, we will introduce a Boolean variable that is of a state property. Now, what is state property? Our views tend to change for some reason, like for a tap gesture or for a swipe gesture or some kind of interaction that the user did with the view, the state of the view actually changes. And introducing this state variable allows us to do some changes where applicable. Wherever our SwiftUI code listens to this state property, it will go and make those changes to that property. It's a very declarative way. It's the new way that Apple has introduced the framework to work, and it might sound a bit weird at the beginning. However, it gets easier over time, especially if you're familiar with RX Swift. This is no new stuff for you. You already know how this works. However, if you're not familiar with RX Swift, then this is brand new, but don't get scared. Things get easier over time. So how do we go and introduce this state property? It's simple. You just say @state and then say var flipped or is flipped equals false, because our initial value is not flipped. We want to, when we start the application, to have the backdrop, so our card is not flipped. Now, when I tap on the image, I want the is flipped to change. So I say self.isFlipped.toggle. So this will toggle our boolean. So from false it will turn into true, and from true it will turn it to false. And right now we're not doing anything with it, right? We're just switching it. However, I would like to change the image at the beginning. So if is flipped, I would like to have an image of king. Else, I would like to have an image of a backdrop, right? Right now, we're not gonna be building a new image and say if is flipped, then image this, or else image this. We're gonna have this if condition inside our initializer of the image. That is how Apple recommends doing those things in order to take full advantage of the performance, animation, and everything that SwiftUI is offering. Okay, so I'm gonna go and play on the preview here. I just pressed this play button, and for some reason this failed. Now I have pressed the play button and I can interact with my content. So if I press on the image, I see that it switched to king, because that's what I say. If the image is flipped, which whenever I tap the image will happen, show me king. And now if I tap the image back, it will turn to false and my backdrop should appear again. Great, so every time that I tap it, the image changes. All right, now let's go and add some animations. I'm gonna pause this. All right. What I want to do is I want to rotate the image on 180 degrees, right? I would like to turn it from one side to the other. Let's go and do this. If you Command Shift L, you will open all the modifiers that you can add to your property. And this view would like to have some kind of an effect property, and you can see all kind of things that you want to do. And as you can see, I would like to add a rotation, a 3D rotation effect. So I'm just gonna tap it and it automatically goes and adds it, and in the preview I can see what is happening with the variables in here. All right, the angle that I would like to add is basically how much I want it to rotate, and that it depends. I would like to say is flipped. If our image is flipped, I would like to rotate it to 180 degrees. Otherwise, I want it to not rotate. I want it to stay as it is. And now our axis is how it actually is gonna rotate. Now, I don't want anything on the X and Z axis. I want it to rotate vertically. So I just need a Y axis rotation. So those Z and X, I'm gonna put 0, and then Y is gonna be 1. So theoretically right now, if I go and I play this, I'm gonna be able to interact with my content right now, and theoretically it should have rotated. However, we're not telling SwiftUI to play any animations. So if I would like to see the animation, when I'm toggling the state property, it's as simple as saying with animation, and then I encapsulate my toggle variable in there. So right now, whenever I change the state variable is flipped, everything that is listening to this property will animate. So let's go and see now that I changed this. Theoretically, I should get a rotation. I don't get the rotation, and that I believe is a SwiftUI bug. I'm not 100% sure if it is or if I'm doing something wrong. There is a way that I found to work is if I encapsulate this in a horizontal stack or something, then it works. So I'm encapsulating my image into a horizontal stack, and I actually add my gesture recognizer to this horizontal stack. So right now, if I go and I tap on the image, sorry, Xcode crashed while I was tapping the image. So let's give it another go. All right, so right now, if I run again play, and I tap on the image, oh, I need to play it. And now I tap on the image, you will see that my card actually rotates. And there are like a few things that you'll notice straight out of the box, such as you can see the image flipping way before it starts rotating. That is true because once we actually flip it, then it instantly changes the image, and the animation is quite slow, and you quickly see that the image is not as you want it to be. And the way I found to fix this is by adding a specific animation. So you can add different animations. So with animation, you can have an initializer and you can pass some kind of animation. So you have a basic animation, which is a basic animation, which if we run, you will be able to see it's similar to what we had. And you can add a curve like ease in, ease out, ease in and out, and stuff like this. You have the default one, an empty, a fluid spring, but one that I really liked is the spring one. So if I enter the spring and I start tapping, you'll be able to see that it has also this kind of quick rotation, and then it kind of bounces in the end, which gives it a pretty cool effect. However, still doesn't solve the problem of like you are able to see that the image flips on the tap before it actually is flipped. So a way that I found to do this illusion, to fix this illusion, is by adding on the spring, it has initial velocity. So if I add initial velocity in here of 10, you'll be able to see that you no longer have this bug or visual defect, or however you want to call it. It gives the illusion that the image quickly flips, and then you have this cool animation. Pretty awesome. Now, the only bad thing is that for some reason this tap gesture with animation does not work on the image. You will have to encapsulate it on some kind of stack. Horizontal stack, vertical stack, Z stack, doesn't really matter. I just figured it out that it needs to be in some kind of stack. It's pretty sad, but hopefully in the later versions of SwiftUI this is actually fixed. Maybe if you're already watching this video while this is out of beta, this has already been fixed, so you can try this out without encapsulating it. All right, so we are almost there with what we had here in the simulator. So we would also like to give this effect of like flipping it up and down. However, before I do any more work, I would like to go and extract this encapsulating with the image inside another view. And I'm gonna, so you just press on the image and they say extract subview, and then the extracted view is called, and I'm gonna call this a card because it's card, right? Alright, so now it doesn't know what flipped is. I'm gonna move the state property inside my card, because from now on my card is the card state changes. And I'm gonna keep this. However, I'm gonna remove the frame from there, and I'm gonna allow my content view to add frames. And this gesture recognizer is gonna be removed and it's gonna be added to my card. And also my card will encapsulate this in a Z stack. Alright, and then I add my gesture recognizer there. Alright, so in theory nothing has changed. This should actually work the same, which it does. Pretty cool. Now, how we gonna animate this to go a bit up and then down is pretty simple. We just add another modifier, and this modifier is an offset modifier, and we're gonna offset it with a size. So that's a stitch size of a width and a height. So we're gonna offset the height a bit up. So width doesn't change, stays the same. However, the height is changed based on our flipped variable. So is flipped, then we want to offset it by 100 pixels, so it will go up, otherwise it goes back to 0. So let's just try this out, and there we go. We have this going up and down, up and down. Pretty cool. Now I would like to add a horizontal stack and add 3 more cards in there, and I'm gonna remove the frame for now. So my card will have 3 cards. I can do a for each and 1 to 3 add those ones. It's up to you. They look huge, that's because we don't have a frame, and in this case I'm just gonna add a frame to my horizontal stack, and that's just gonna add the height of 350. I think will be fine. Maybe 250, it's nice. Yeah, 250 is nicer. So right now they fill up the whole width, so I just need the height. And clicking them, we are losing rotation. Sorry, another crash with Xcode. So let's go again. So as I said, doing this, we're losing the rotation. And that is because of the same bug. We need to encapsulate this into another horizontal or vertical or whatever stack we want that will have our horizontal stack. So this is 100% a SwiftUI bug. So if it's out of beta, this most likely should be fixed, so you don't need to worry about it. Huge bug right now. I'm sorry that you have to go through this. You have to encapsulating it into stacks, unnecessary stacks. But this whole video is just to show you how you can do animations, tap gestures, and how you can work with state variables. And there you go, you have pretty cool animation. And in fact, all this took how much? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, less than 10 lines of code. How amazing is that? SwiftUI does miracles. Pretty buggy, cannot deny that, but if you find bugs like this, just file them in the feedback assistant. Apple will review them and hopefully fix them very soon. Hopefully these bugs don't exist if you're already watching while this video is in production. However, for us beta users, we have to go through this. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Alright, so that is all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you find it interesting. And if you like more videos about SwiftUI, let me know with thumbs up and in the comment section below. I would like to do a lot more videos on SwiftUI. However, as you could see from today, and also I've been experimenting quite a lot, it is still pretty early to do anything with it. It's very buggy. I encounter so many things that are not working properly, and I find workarounds. However, they are workarounds, they are not actual implementation. So if I go and I teach you how to do those things with the workarounds, it's not going to be a good practice for later on when the bugs are actually fixed. So I'm going to try to make videos that are actually useful and don't need that many workarounds, at least right now, such as like animations, pushing and popping like navigation stacks, or just view controllers, drag and dropping items, and so on. So let me know what are you interested in. We can also try to build another app using SwiftUI and get more in depth into combined stuff such as bindable objects, binding, state properties, environmental properties, and so on. So once again, thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe for more videos like this. And I hope you enjoy. See you folks in the next one. Bye.